Hello, me lovelies. I just thought to do this video because people keep on asking me or putting comments down now and again saying, I thought you and Shaun were friends again, meaning Shaun Attwood. So I'm going to give an explanation now what happened led me to say, right, I want nothing more to do with Shaun Attwood and don't want to be associated with him because I don't want my own reputation being tainted. And that's what the danger of what was going to happen. In short, people know that me and Shaun never saw eye to eye. It was mainly over his association with John Wedger, the ex-CID officer, who I see as a fundamental Christian. And that's not a bad thing itself, being a fundamental Christian, but not one that refuses to explain serious questions about his conduct away. And the serious question marks over the way John Wedger carries on. So that had always been an issue. Then the Daddy Gate happened, which I regret ever releasing that because it totally got out of hand. It got way out of hand, and that I've always regretted. Would I do that again? Certainly wouldn't. Would I criticise him? Certainly will. Well, I'm doing it now, aren't I? Criticising him, but I'm making it clear that I don't agree with out and out cyberbullying and the lies that we're told about him, and the way lies and still are lies being told about him. One, namely, let's clear up again, which I've mentioned. My words were twisted round when I said I was concerned about him going near youths in schools. That was twisted right round to make it sound like I was saying he was a danger to youth sexually. No, I didn't. And I made it clear at the time, but these trolls will do that. And they go on about cancel culture. Actually, they were the ones, firstly, let's just point this out. The American podcaster and the Scottish pussycat. Right. Just make this clear. Who was the first one that went to the police and reported me trying to get me cancelled? I think you'll find it was the American podcaster. Was the first one out of anyone that ever went to the police. If you want me to pull out the receipts, I'll pull out the receipts where he's talking to Brian Harvey and he says it. I've reported you to the Mayside police. They're going to come and knock at your door. So who's trying to cancel who? Who was the one saying that he wanted to bring down Shaun Attwood? Cancel culture, yeah. They know all about it because they were the first ones. It's only that it turned round and bit them on the backside. So there you go. Just thought I'd clarify that. But I never once said Shaun was dangerous around youths because of being a sexual danger. I've never had that impression of him. And I tell you now, the only reason I said that was because of the filth he was putting on his podcast. Graphic filth from John Wedger, Jeanette Archer. What's that other fella? I can't remember. Ron Swanson and all this business. So that's why we fell out initially. And I still have alarm bells going on about his association with John Wedger. People look into him. And let's get back to actually why we passed the company again after coming together. Well, we came together and the idea was to start up ACB anti-cyberbullying to help get changes basically so that platforms are made legally liable if they're told about cyberbullying. Now, we're not talking about freedom of speech. We're talking about cyberbullying where people are targeted and harassed and stalked off social media. That was the plan. Shaun did nothing. He just did nothing. I was putting forward names of people that would have made good guests to talk to. Wasn't interested. He wouldn't even reply. And this is a trend you'll find with Shaun. He'll on this platform, oh yeah, we'll work together and all this. Then they don't hear from him. He just goes silent. But what caused the division to happen, and the reason why I have nothing to do with him, and I certainly will never have anything to do with him in the future, is because I telephoned him and told him, and that Darren G Had been making all kinds of threats online towards me. Absolute filth. Anti-LGBTQI filth. Bigoted filth he was coming out with against me. But he also tried to dox me address and my name. So I had to, and people, you have to do this. If someone doxes your name and address, get right onto the police and log it. Even though you don't want them to take action, log it. Because if anything happens to you, they know whose door to knock on and say, wait a minute, you were the one that released or tried to release their details. And now this has happened. Are you connected to it? So you make sure that the police know where to go. So I had no choice but to get on to Birmingham Police and say, look, Darren G has done this. Now, when you're talking about Darren G, it's not like going around and saying Joe Bloggs down the road has just done this. You're talking about a man that was in prison for his connection to murder. Right? So that's going to have like a red flag right on it straight away. But I said to him, don't call out, said keep it on record, just so if anything happens, you know who put it out there. And you know whose door to knock on and question. So they did that. But at the same time, because of Darren G's high profile and the red flagging that will come up because of his criminal history, I thought I'll have to warn Shaun to keep away from him for a few days. Because for all I knew, the police would go, stuff that, we're calling out anyway. Because this is too serious. They could have done that, they didn't, but they could have done it. So I was trying to help Shaun, warn him. Why? Because I've warned Shaun in the past. His association with certain people like Wilfred Wong, especially Wilfred Wong and Ron Swanson. The police will be watching him. And I was proven right, wasn't I? What happened? He was pulled in by the police over the Wong incident. You know. See, how come I'm always right in my predictions? It's not crystal ball, it's just logic, and I know the way the police work. So that happened. But anyway, I tried to say to him, you don't want any more interference from the police, do you? You're trying to get yourself, your channel, keep it on the straight and narrow and all that, do this. So I'm concerned about it. I'm the one that's bleeding got the threats. I'm the one that gets all the hate. But I'm concerned like an idiot about him. And I did turn out being an idiot. The very next day, and this is what caused, I thought, right, not having nothing to do with you. Very next day, he's on his channel. Oh, well, I'm going to meet, me and Jen are going to meet Darren G, blah, 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 blah. We're going to work with Darren G and how wonderful Darren G is. So I got in touch and said, oh, thanks for that, Shaun. I said, why didn't you tell me last night that you were doing all this? And he got back to me in a panic. Oh, you've got to understand, you know, things I've been called a person who does nasty things to children. I've been called this, I've had death threats, my mother's getting all kinds of abuse, blah, 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 blah. He was going on. So I can understand where he's coming from in one respect. But, I'm sorry. Right. This is all hinging over Shaun wanting to push all the blame onto James English. No. Darren G came out of all that, out of his mouth. That all came out of his mouth. What is he saying? That James English is some kind of genius, some kind of, you know, Svengali, and that Darren was his trilby. That's what he's saying. That James English hypnotised, put him in a trance and made him say all these things. That's what I'm saying, and I was trying to get that through to him. You know, he's obsessing about James English and what he did. I can understand why he is, but he's going very paranoid about him going too far with it. But I was really upset by the fact he never told me. And said, well, actually, I've got to tell you, Anne, what's happening tomorrow is. I would have said, well, I don't like it, but it's up to you, do it. And that's what I would have said. If he wants to walk into that situation, that's up to him. That's up to him. I was just warning him. But he made it really nasty by keeping his mouth shut. So that happened. I removed him from ACB. I had no choice. I thought, this is giving out a mixed message here. It looks like he's used me, which he was using me. Anyway, next thing, I get a phone call. But my phone was upstairs and I was downstairs. So by the time I got up the stairs, the phone had gone off and had gone to the voicemail. And it's Shaun. Hello, Anne. I'm with Jen going down to interview my mum. He's interviewing his mama for the second time over a book. And Jen was like, in a really, I knew there's something off about it because in a really, like a silly little girl way, hello. I mean, I've never met Jen. I don't know who she is. I've got no longing to meet her. So why is she getting involved in this and giggling like a little schoolgirl? So I could tell by her attitude this is not going to be good. Anyway, he said, and it was difficult to hear him. I've still got it on my phone, but it's difficult to make out exactly what he's saying. But it comes out as he's saying that he got a message that had said, I hope the baldy long streak of piss contacts me. Like hell I did. Didn't want any contact from him. And I don't talk like that. People who know me know I don't talk like that. And I wouldn't go, why would I have to go through someone else to contact him? I've got his phone number, I've got his email. I know how to contact him. Directly myself. And he went, oh, that sounds like cyberbullying to me. Bye. And little Jen is in the background going, hee. And, do you know what she really wants? I'll get a wake-up call, love, right? Because let's put it this way. She really annoyed me doing that. I mean, because, Jen, right, before you go giggling at me, you're the one that's riding his coattails, hoping that you'll get a career associating yourself with him. Honey, you've gone and jumped on the Titanic after it's hit the iceberg. You're going nowhere but straight down into the depths, honey. So laugh that one off. Oh, I can't help it. She really got my goat doing that. But anyway, let's put that aside. So that's why I felt betrayed by him. I can understand why he was wanting to get Darren on side. Look, I've got sympathy with Shaun in one way. A lot of things are said about him that aren't true. He has been cyberbullied. But again, he doesn't help himself, and he's an old man. He's got to get used to it. He's an old man. He's nearly as old as me. And I'm not far off 60. So, he should know better. But he keeps making the same mistakes. And if you look at last night at what he was doing with John Wedger, again, he's back in with John Wedger. He's going back into the filth, isn't he? The vile, disgusting, graphic details in one point. Let him do it. It's his channel. If he wants to lose, he can lose it. But that's why I have nothing to do with Shaun Attwood. Will I criticise him? Yes, I will. Will I defend him when he needs to defend him? Yes, I will. But, stab me right in the back by what he did. And it's never going to be a situation again that I'll trust him again. Never. So that's the reason why, my lovelies, I'll leave it at that for now. Bye bye.